Hey everybody, check out behind me. It will not take you long to realize and figure out exactly where I'm at. Pete and Jake's, of course. Here I am, the famous California Kid 34 is right there. Jim Jacobs' coupe is behind us as well, the famous Canary Yellow. I'm here with Jason. Jason, how's it going?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm good. First of all, thank you so much for coming in here after hours.
You bet.
It's a place that's been on my list.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you came.
And there's a lot that is happening here. Not only is the shop just beautiful, we're going to have a good walkthrough and get a nice tour for you guys at home, but every year something very special happens here.
We do an open house and a car show, and it's a fundraiser for the JDRF, the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. So we do that each year. So we started out as an open house, then evolved into a car show, and we do a pinstripe auction, and it's the days just to raise money for the kids.
There's going to be a whole separate video so you have an understanding of exactly what happens here at Pete and Jake's open house. But this here is to look at the shop, get a shop tour, and we're going to have a sit down as well.
Yep, the night before.
The night before. All right, so I've just walked in and there's a lot of memorabilia here, Jason.
Yes. Yeah, this is, as you walk through the walls, just a history of Pete and Jake's and, hot rod history and artists, a lot of different artwork that's here. There's just a lot of history that we've tried to keep and to share with people as they come in the shop. A lot of that Pete and Jake sign there, that was from the original Pete and Jake display back in the 70s. And one of my dealers, Eddie Lawson from Eddie's Rod Shop, was kind enough to pull that out of his attic and allow us to have that. And I hung that up a number of years ago. Just another piece of history that I wanted to share with people.
One of the reasons I was so excited to come here and get to know yourself more and check out the place is because you have preserved, and not only preserved it, but you've enhanced the history so much and carried on the legacy. Dwell more into the history and how it all started. And we'll come back to the cars as well. Pete and Jake's, obviously, online you do sell the parts, but what is the parts that you specialize in?
So we started at the 28 to 34 Fords doing the chassis and suspension parts, master cylinder mounts, motor mounts, rear suspensions, and that's where Pete and Jake started. We then evolved. Of course, they had done some 35 through 40 stuff, and then we took it into the 42 through 48. We started doing complete chassis. We now do truck chassis. We're one of the last remaining, actually the only American-made axle, spindle, perch, all front end pieces that we do are all U.S. made. So we're one of the few that are left. And we're very proud of that.
You must be smiling now with everything that's happening in the news.
Well, people talk about when we talk with a lot of our foundries, and they talk about people bringing tooling back, and I just smile and make the comment, never left.
Never left. There you go, everybody. All right, so there is another factory you were mentioning where you actually make the chassis.
It is. So we've got our chassis shop next door. So out here are some things that are going to be available for auction. We always have the pinstriper, the hot rod community, and the pinstripers are just wonderful, wonderful people, and they donate to us. Jeff Hopgood, the woodman. This is a piece that he did for the anniversary of Superbell. Just a wonderful, wonderful piece, all handmade wood.
Jeff is very talented.
Yes,
I have met him briefly.
We just got this today.
Wow.
We just shipped it in. Some panels that we have. Eric Campbell had pinstriped a guitar for our 50th anniversary at Superbell, and that's a guitar from Fender, our good friend Scotty Buell from the Fender Custom Shop.
Scott's here.
Yeah, he's here.
Custom builder.
Yeah, this is my dad, Jerry.
Hi.
Jerry,
This is Raina.
Rana,
I've
nice
heard
to
about
meet you.
I've heard about you.
You have heard about me?
Well, sure I have. Yeah.
I've heard more about yourself.
Oh, well, you've got a reputation.
Oh, please do talk. What's the reputation?
And then I heard you're unmarried. Is that right?
I'm unmarried?
Yeah. Are you married?
I am married.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yes.
Somebody was telling me that.
Off the market.
Yeah.
Well, Jerry, your good friend Bobby says hello.
Alloway.
Alloway.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Great, great guy. Good friend. Yeah, we did a lot of business together. We have. We
Nice.
sure have. He's a good builder too.
I
He
had no
tells-
idea he was a builder or anything when I met him 3
Oh my
years
gosh.
ago. I live 15 minutes, 20 minutes away
When you say a Bobby Alloway car, they know it's low.
I
They
don't
know it's
know.
black. They know it's got big wheels and a big motor.
That's right.
That is Alloway tradition. That's it. It's the only way he does it.
We're videoing and we're going through the shop. We're taking a tour.
Go ahead.
Yep.
Nice, very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Jerry.
Okay. You
And
too.
I'll see you again. I'm sure I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow will be a zoo.
It will be a zoo. I'm so
Cars
excited. It's my
every-
first time at the open house.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure glad you took the time to come down.
Absolutely. It was on my list.
Good deal.
I'll see you around,
All
Jerry.
right, sweetheart. We'll see you.
Okay, there's a lot of things here for auction, Jason.
My wife Tina and Debbie that works for us, they put together baskets, just small little things, Mother's Day baskets, and once again, it's all about raising money for the kids. You know, that's what we've always promoted and always wanted to do, and we just, as I'd mentioned before, the striping community and hot rodders are just, they've got big hearts.
They sure
And,
do.
they come down when we put the call out. They come, and it's just awfully nice to
Nice.
have that. So we've got this is one of the original Pete and Jake's. If you'll notice, that says Hot Rod Repair, and that's how Pete and Jake's first started. It was not Pete and Jake's Hot Rod Parts; it was Hot Rod Repair. That's one of the signs that hung at the original 8827 Las Tunas Boulevard, out on the building. When we bought Pete and Jake's in 1986, that sign was in back, and it was leaned up against the wall. And Jake, the trucks would hit it. Jake got tired of hanging it up. It knocked down, he'd hang it up. So finally, he just put it up against one of the walls, and there it was.
He never thought at that time just what a big part of history this was going to become, right?
Oh, it was. They just love cars. They just love what they did. You know, that's what this little sign here. I always thought that this was funny. This is the sign that was on the door. The Pete and Jake's Hot Rod Repair, and Saturdays 9 to 12 on occasion.
On occasion.
Yeah, on occasion. They were closed on Fridays. The reason Pete and Jake were closed on Fridays is because they were typically going to shows. That was the whole point. They'd leave, shut down on Thursday night. They'd go on Friday, and that's where the closed on Fridays had originally come from. So.
Now, there's a lot of other aisles over there, Jason, that we were just walking past.
Yeah, the shelves that are right up here, Pete, when he came, each time he would come, he would get a kick out of this. That second aisle there, the shortest one that you see, the short shelves, that was the original shelves from Pete and Jake's. These right here, that shelf, that section. Right there.
Wow.
This is what the original Pete and Jake's. A lot of this is Pete's handwriting. It was so funny because when Pete came back for our 40th anniversary, he was nosing around, and he pulled out one of the instruction sheets for a hardware pack, and it was in his writing. And he was taking pictures of it and sending it to his son, Peter. That's, of course, at SoCal now, Peter Forth. Yeah,
That's correct.
Yeah.
Businesses merge and things change all the time. It's the nature of any industry. One of the things that is really admirable here is, one, the name has stayed the same. You've been involved for 30 years, a lot longer than what Pete was involved in.
Yeah, we've owned the business now 39 years.
39 years, yet the relationship, and Pete to come in here as well, it's definitely something to be admired, and especially for builders, younger builders who are trying to get into the parts, it is about those relationships, isn't it?
It is. I mean, and that's the whole cornerstone of what we do. I had a gentleman call me today about a Pitman arm, and he was struggling trying to find a certain type of a Pitman arm. And so we went through a probably 10, 15-minute conversation. And I explained to him, he'd already gotten one from someone else that was wrong. And so we went through. And so his next question was, how do I get it on your website? How do I, put it in a shopping cart? And I said, well, this is one of the reasons that we don't do that, because we just talked 15 minutes about a Pitman arm. If you would have clicked on a box, you would have had no idea everything we talked about. So what we do is really technical, and people can call, and there's no recording. They don't have to go through a switchboard. They don't have to hit number 2, number 3, number 4. When they call, I answer the phone, my dad answers the phone, and we can just start in the conversation immediately.
And you
What do you
take
need?
orders like that over the
Absolutely.
phone.
Oh yeah, that's what we do.
So am I understanding this, that there is no website?
We have a website, and it has technical information, history, those kind of things. But we just encourage people
If you're looking for parts, to
us.
call.
Absolutely, because there's always, from one question will typically stem three or four.
Yeah.
And our goal, anytime that someone calls, is education. I want to make sure they get exactly what they need. Sometimes they don't know exactly what they need.
Correct.
And that's what we want to help them with. We want to make sure they get the right thing. Because too many times in this industry, you have someone that they get products, they get a car, they get pieces and parts, and it's not what they want. And things don't go together, things don't fit, and it's just not right. And they get discouraged. And then they end up just selling the project. They sell a project before they ever get it done and get to experience our industry. Get to experience coming to a show like this and meeting lifelong friends, because somebody didn't take the time to listen to them and sell them what they needed. And our goal is, unfortunately, guys come to us, people come to us, and they've already gone too, so far into something.
Yes.
I've got to be the bearer of bad news, and well, here's what we need to change.
Yeah.
But we change it.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of companies in our industry that think the way we do, and we just work through that and try. And it's nowadays, unfortunately, we've lost so many. We've lost so many of our friends and those in the industry, and a lot of that history and knowledge, unfortunately, has left. And that's why it's so important to hand that down.
Yes.
To hand down that, to sit around with the old guys.
Yeah.
And to listen. And what you do, being able to go to shops and get information and share that with people
Absolutely.
that wouldn't normally be able to go to an event or go to someone's shop.
Exactly.
And figure out the behind the scenes and hear the behind the scenes. Oh, well, I didn't know that's what they did over there. So,
And that is the feedback that we get back, because we do have so many of you at home where, whether you're somewhere that's too far away, sickness, health, these things all play a factor. Not everybody can travel around like a loose chicken like I myself to the car shows, but at least through this you get to know, because this is why I was excited about this. This is a key component of the hot rod industry right here where we are standing. It's huge.
yeah,
And like you said, it's getting less and less.
it is.
To get the stories, it's very important so those stories stay alive. And we are in the age of internet and technology.
Absolutely. And our goal is, once again, we feel as we're caretakers. We're caretakers of the California Kid and Jake's Coop, and to still continue to honor Pete's name and his family, Jake. Be still honoring them, and that's why we work as hard as we do, because and they know, when Pete was alive. Just so proud of the fact that we took his name and Jake's name, and it's still those names known in the industry, and they're still well respected in the industry. And that was our goal when we bought Pete and Jake's. We wanted to make sure that we did their names and the business justice, and we feel we've done all that we can in 39 years. So
Your
and continuing.
reputation speaks well, honestly. And you have done a lot more as well since then, which we'll cover as well, some of the other parts that came in.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, there was a lot that has changed through the years, no doubt about it. And then, of course, Superbell. We bought Superbell in 1999 and married it with Pete and Jake's. So those two companies were like sister companies. They had Superbell started in 1975 by Jim Ewing and Victor Leone, and one of their first products was a tube axle. And right here is that original
Oh, this is what Posey's told me, that
tube axle fixture. There
the
it is.
original is right here at
It
Pete
is.
and Jake's.
And that was the fixture that Superbell used. We still use it today.
Because before this, you couldn't make a hot rod.
There was a lot of things that there was so much of it that used original parts, of course, original Ford parts, and there were so many talented guys out there that made their own stuff. because they had to. They didn't have an option. They just didn't have any other choice. They just had to make it because it didn't exist. And that's where the early fabricators, my gosh, there were so many great fabricators. In fact, you talk to guys in different cities, there's always names that come up. You know, the younger guys hear about the names of whoever it may be. Oh yeah, he was a great fabricator, you know, chassis man or headers or
Right. So they would custom make
absolutely.
the chassis
There
to make
was
it work.
within a city, you always had a network. You would have a network of guys where, you know, there'd be a painter, a body man, or there'd be, you know, a guy that was a great welder that could do chassis work or headers or whatever needed to be done. You built a car with your friends and a network, and that's the way it worked. And today we still do that as an industry. You know, I have people that call and others call different manufacturers. We don't do it, but you may try.
Yes.
You hand them off. You just don't say, well, we don't do that. That's not how we do it.
Before the Superbell that people were making, especially the builders, they were able to fabricate it. But you guys brought it into, well, Pete and Jake's brought it into, well, sorry, excuse me for that. The Superbell, they came into production, when was it?
1975.
In 75. Prior to this, there was no such thing for the public,
So what
for the average guy working on the
Right.
hot rod.
the axles, for example, you know, most used original Ford axles. You'd take a Ford axle and an I-beam, and you would heat it and pull it. More drop was available. Dago axles in San Diego. There was just a number of shops, and they're local guys. Once again, there were local guys that had fixtures and things to be able to do it. And then you had tube axles, you know, for a lot of the race industry, and that's where hot rods and racing, you know, they've always been similar. You know, there was things that we take from the race industry and bring into the hot rod world, still do, but that was some of the things that that was always done. That they would see something, you know, like hairpins, you know, hairpins being on sprint cars,
Yeah.
you know, and taking those and moving those over into the hot
Slight
rods.
little modifications,
Absolutely.
slight
Yeah. So,
modifications.
you know, whether it be dirt racing, roundy round, or Bonneville, you know, El Mirage, you know, straight line racing, whatever it may be, those always intertwine and work together. So
Now, everything is US made, Jason.
it is.
What
So-
gets made where?
So we have our in fact, not long ago, a couple of weeks ago, we posted on Facebook our tube axles. I'm sorry, our I-beam axles that they were rods, tubes, but they call them rods, that had been heated and bent, getting ready for forging. And you know, so we posted that, and we had somebody that made a comment on our Facebook page. I just smiled at it, and it said something about China. And in my mind, I said, well, you give me a call, I'll be happy to
Exactly.
give you the address. You can go there and you can watch it firsthand. I'll tell you who to talk to. He'll let you in, and you can see them being made.
Exactly.
But they're being made in Ohio. I have a lot of our other pieces are made up in Iowa. I have machines or aluminum foundry here in Kansas City that does some pieces for us, does our brake hubs and other things. So yeah, it's all here. Our die stamp, a lot of the pieces that we have done laser cut. We have a laser cutter down the road, so it's all.
I hope to see down the road too.
Yeah.
And I know I ask for a lot when I come in to do my shop tours.
We've got everything.
You can't tell me there's a chassis factory and expect me not to want to say, hey, let's go check it out.
We have to turn our back machine shop into the lunch spot because tomorrow we're going to be cooking hot dogs.
Right.
So, we've kind of taken everything. When company comes over, you kind of clean everything up and move everything to the side. When you have company come into your house, the same thing. You kind of put things in closets and you kind of tidy things up.
Of course,
That's what
it's
we've
the
done.
same thing here.
Yeah.
I wish Tina had stayed, so we'll definitely say hello to her on film tomorrow.
We do our own urethane bushings. Pete and Jake was one of the early companies that did at that time cast urethane bushings, and then later on injection molded bushings. So for the 4 bars, for the ladder bars, for a lot of the suspension pieces, we still use injection molding in urethane. So we do a lot of pieces for our good friends at Alden America.
Can you tell me a little bit more about this machine?
Sure.
I haven't come across it.
This is an Arberg injection molding machine that we take urethane and the urethane gets heated up and then pushed into different molds. You'll notice that right now underneath there is nylon, because this will also do nylon. So these are internal pieces of Alden. So when someone has an Alden American shock and they click the knob up at the top, this is the piece that's moving. So once again, the pieces within Alden America are US made also, because we do some of them for them.
That's a piece that would be so common to outsource it and get it from, say, China.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we have a great working relationship with Garrett and his team. We do their the bushings at the end of the shocks. We do a lot of different pieces for them. And it's just a working relationship. We talked about relationships.
Yeah.
And that's what this industry is built on. It's built on relationships. And we do a lot for them, as we do for, you know, a lot in the industry, where we'll make things for them, do custom pieces, things like that. So, but that's what this machine here is.
You've got something really old back there.
So that is a press that we use to what we call swedge our Pitman arms. So once again, even our Pitman arm is made in America. So a Pitman arm, this one happens to be for a Vega box, it's an old sample, but the Pitman arm gets laser cut. We then have a broaching tool. A broach puts the spline in it, okay? So when a broaching tool goes through, it's what we call a straight broach. So the spline comes through straight. It's just a completely straight set of splines in it. But when you look at a steering box, well, we've got one laying around here, but a steering box is on a taper.
Yep.
When you put a Pitman arm on, the more you tighten it up, it seats itself against the splines. Well, this is straight. So what we have to do is everything's stacked up here because of the car show, but we take the end of that Pitman arm, we use an induction heating process. We heat that end of the Pitman arm up, we take it, and right over here, you see the big spring-loaded pieces? Right here. See the big coil springs?
Oh, yep,
Yep, right there.
Yep.
That's a top and a bottom. So what happens, and you'll notice right there in the middle, with all the 4 springs underneath it, you see that piece there sticking up out of it?
Yep.
Is a spline. So what happens, it's on a taper. We heat that up, this machine, it comes back over, and that press comes down and hits it. And when it hits it, it puts the taper in the Pitman arm. So now it fits a steering box. The fixture that's in it, that's a tool that came from the original Magnum axle. That tool that you see there is what puts the smile in a tube axle, because most tube axles are straight. Superbells and Magnums have a smile. And that's how it's done, is right there in that press. We take a round piece of tubing, we use this press, and it puts a smile in it.
And I'm guessing the press would have different settings on how.
It does. But that's as you can tell, that's an old press. It took more money to get it here from California.
I believe that.
Than what the press was worth. But what was so important?
So heavy. I think
it was set. It's how it's been done for 30 years.
Wow.
If it's not broke, don't fix it. So that's why we utilize that here in our shop.
How loud is it?
It's really not bad. When it hits, the stops are set right. You know it's running. Yeah, I will say that. You know it's running.
That's pretty cool. And you've got a few other oldies here as well. I'm very nosy.
Oh, absolutely. No, we do. Yeah, we have a lot of original lathes that we use that do our tie rods and our drag links.
This is a lathe here?
On a Warner Swayze machine.
Wow.
Here in Kansas City, there was a facility called Bendix. First it was Westinghouse, then it became Bendix. And most know the facility today as Honeywell. They did a lot of military work, but it was always the joke in Kansas City for those that worked at Bendix. They couldn't tell people what they did, of course, because they did military work. What do you guys do down there? The joke was, we build washing machine parts.
So if anybody said that.
Yeah. So this machine evidently built washing machine parts for many, many years.
Wow, this is I've seen a few different lathes, but this is one that I've never seen like it before. And just like the CNC machines, we can still see the shavings,
Absolutely.
I guess you could call them.
And
then we've got a little bit more updated lathes.
Yeah, an old LeBlanc, and this one's still even old as well. But these old machines, you just can't destroy them. The one thing is becoming harder, like a lot of things in our industry, as well as the machine industry, finding people to work on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the older guys to be able to work on it.
And the younger guys are more interested in learning CNC.
Well, exactly.
And
you know,
CAD.
there's so much of that, and that's wonderful. You know, once again, that also, and we use that. You know, we have machine shops that we use that do a lot of things for us. So we don't do it all here. I have other machine shops that I use, and once again, you walk into that facility, same thing, CNC after CNC after CNC. So it's not like we don't use it, and a lot of these machines were once used as production, and for the most part, we do a lot of things that are done in the production. And like I said, for what we do, we do onesie twosies. If we need something that we're going to be doing for prototype work, we'll do that here. That's our 4th generation. That's Wyatt.
Bless you.
Our shop dog, Bo.
You know, we have to move with the times, of course, and that's why with the CNC, it's great stuff.
Oh, absolutely. And most of our stuff is done that way.
Yes.
Just because of timing, you know, whenever you're doing, it's all about speed. It's all about getting things done. And so there are certain things that would just take way too long.
Yeah.
You know, like our axles are machined at a machine shop. We can do them one at a time, like we've always done, but it makes more sense to send a skid up there and at the end of the week pick a skid up.
And it's also got to do with the day and age that we're all living now. Everybody wants things quicker, and things are not cheap, and building it completely using the old school machinery would take a heck of a lot long time. Okay, where are we now?
Most of the fixtures that you see here are from the original Pete and Jake's. These 2 gray cabinets, once again, are original Pete and Jake's cabinets from the shop. A lot of these fixtures are the same fixtures that Jake had done and had built back in the 70s.
And these are still all for the axles?
These are all the suspension parts. We've got motor mounts. We have shock mounts, 4-bar mounts.
Now these parts are of course trademarked, Jason, right?
Yes, this is in fact the 4-bar, the name 4-bar. Pete and Jake patented the 4-bar and trademarked it. We've got that information in our catalog that was copyrighted. So we're the ones that use the 4, the numeral 4, and bar. Now others use 4-link, parallel link. There's a variety of different names for them. But
if it's got the digit 4, then it's...
That was ours.
Yeah.
We've got motor mounts, small block Ford motor mounts that we're doing, some clutch mounts, of course flathead mounts.
Those of you working on the old school hot rods, give these guys a call, give Jason a call. I'm going to put the number in the description as well as on the screen, so pause it if you need to, because sometimes it's these small parts that can actually give us a lot more trouble.
I've had people that have called me and said, I was looking at a magazine ad or a shop tour, and back in the corner I saw whatever that may be. So we've got small block Ford motor mounts. Once again, we're doing those. We've got things somewhat in disarray just because we've moved everything out of our chassis shop over to here to allow more people to come in and,
of course,
and to look around.
And I didn't really give you any notice either, Jason, so in your defense.
That's okay. So this is our chassis shop. We've just got some chassis on display that we're doing. This is a 32 with a small block Ford that we have built for a customer, and over here is a 42 through 48 Ford that we have done for a customer.
Then Marines came in and they said, "Fuck that shit! No, you can't live there." They screwed him, and you can't live there.
So he's still living in the little house
Across the street.
I like to just show it nice and close so you guys can see.
Yeah, he got a shop there, and they've got runway.
Just gonna sleep there. Basically.
And you sell them as complete chassis packets.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, yeah. We've got up against the wall. We have an original 35 through 40, an original 42 through 48. Over here is an original 34, and back over here is an original 32. That's what all of our jigs and fixtures were made from, original frames. So that way, whenever we're building something, whether it be for a glass car or a steel car, whatever it may be, we know the dimensions are correct.
You've got
we
the
pulled them off-
prototype.
We pulled them off Henry Ford's. All these chassis we've had for 35 years, 36 years, these frames, and that's what all of our fixtures now are kind of stacked up over here. Normally they would be out
Of course,
as
of course.
we'd be working on them. Here's a 32 that we've done for a customer. In fact, he's going to pick this up after the show tomorrow.
There you go.
He's going to come for the show and then pick it up. So
So that's why the whole idea of having the car show and open house, get your customers to come in and see things, pick up a couple of things, but more so than that, to raise money.
people get to see kind of behind the scenes. They, of course, coming through the week, they see more
Yes.
because we're working, but still they get a little bit of a glimpse of what we do
Yeah.
behind the scenes. So tomorrow is just a lot of, talking to customers and in our local area, it's that show that people come to and they get to see their friends. It's really become, especially as a lot of our customers get older, it's more important to them to be able to come and see their friends and see their buddies, because it just seems like nowadays it's you're unfortunately seeing people at funerals,
Yes.
seeing more funerals than you are car shows. So we try and have something that's fun that everybody can enjoy, and bring everybody to, and just enjoy an afternoon.
You don't just do a day, you do 2 days. I mean,
Yeah,
you were feeding people today as well. I missed out on the barbecue, but I mean, you had a lot of currency and everybody was out,
Yeah.
and as they still are as well.
Absolutely. We've got a Tri-5 Chevy chassis we are doing for a good friend of ours, and he wanted to we're going to do a gasser front end for him. And the 2-lane blacktop car, he really liked the way the car set, so he's gone through and found pictures and things.
I have seen that in detail, the
Yep.
55,
Yep.
the black car that was in 2-lane.
So we're going to do a coilover front end and do that. I'll turn the lights on back here because you'll see the trophies.
Now, Jason, is this normal, or because I mean, I thought it was mainly all the earlier Fords.
It is. You're right. This will be one of the first ones that we've done. There's a lot of things that we'll do. A lot of our customers come to us because honestly, we will do whatever they want on a chassis. Some companies, and understandably, they offer a package A or B or C, and that's what they do. And there's nothing wrong with that. But for us, tell me what you want.
Yeah.
What is your dream? What are you thinking about? Dream it.
Yeah.
And we'll do our best to try.
And you will make it and bring that to life.
Yeah.
You can sell it like this, or you can actually sell it with the entire suspension, rack and pinion steering wheel as
Whatever
well.
they want. Drop axle, as you can tell, we've got drop axle. We've got a couple of IFSs here. Winter's quick changes. You saw Winter's quick changes as we walked by.
Yep.
We work with Bob and Mike and the guys up at Winters. So
Now let's talk about the award.
exactly. So we have a wonderful friend, very, very talented gentleman, Mike Johnston, here in our area, lives over in Belton. And Mike takes, usually he's starting now for next year. and he hand makes and hand letters all of the trophies. People bring in car parts. He finds car parts in just milk crates, and he welds them together.
This is for the
And
car show tomorrow.
This is for the show. So all of them are hand built.
Jason, it's a full-on car show. You've got auction, you've got people, you're actually going to feed them as well. And why not have a little bit of friendly competition with some great trophies?
It has definitely evolved, as I had said earlier when we were talking. It has evolved.
How long have you been doing the open house for?
We have been doing an open house since 1987, the year after we bought Pete and Jake's. Pete and Jake came back, and we had an open house. We had a lot of our friends from California came, and that was the beginning. So it takes a village to make all this happen.
We are going to have a look at the cars, but we've got Colton here as well. Colton, how you going?
I'm doing very well. How are you today?
I'm good. You and Jason have got quite a production happening here for the open house.
Yes, ma'am.
There's already so many people here. How many are you expecting tomorrow?
It really depends. So last year being our 50th, that was one of the biggest ones that we've gotten to have and really enjoyed that. I think our total number last year was 400 cars.
Wow.
And then think about how many more people on top of that. So this year being Superbell's 50th, we're expecting a pretty decent sized crowd. Maybe not quite as big as last year, but still a pretty good turnout. We're going to have beautiful weather.
It's 50 years since the Superbell was created.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I didn't know that. This is why I like to just talk to everybody. I saw you. I'm like, let's get you on here as well.
Absolutely.
What do you do here at Pete and Jake's?
So I do a lot of different things. You know, I started kind of on the phone, sales, and tech. And then I kind of moved to machining, a little bit of welding, and I just really kind of transitioned between doing a lot of different things.
Nice. And you
So-
learned on site.
Yes, ma'am. Yep, so all the shop next door that you guys have already seen, that's where all the part welding is. Machining is happening in the back. So I'll usually float in a day.
Nice. It's how it works here, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Some of the best things that you learn is just by watching somebody else.
Absolutely.
I'll get Jason back here and we're going to
Absolutely.
continue on. Thanks,
All right.
Colton.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.